Right, what's going on, lads? Welcome to another stream on the channel. Little random one today. I've dragged Quinny along with me for a little 6:30 a.m. stream on my side of things, 11:30 where he is. To discuss Sorare 26 and how we think, or what we think the best way to attack it is. So, yeah, Quinny, I appreciate you joining me, mate.
Pleasure's all mine, buddy. Good for having us on, and good to see you up at this time of day. It's it's a familiar surroundings for you.
It is, yeah. Not to be streaming at this time, but definitely to be up at this time. But no, it's all good, mate. But yeah, I appreciate you coming. Something different. Obviously, I'm always on your channel with the Deadline Show and that, so it's nice to mix it up sometimes, isn't it? And just be co-pilot basically for you anyway.
Yeah, I know. Always a pleasure, mate, as well. And I know you've been kind of busy yourself, so always happy to help out in any kind of way. And like, I kind of reached out to you for this off the back of your video last week when you were going through the thing we all do. The announcement comes out, you go through it. Thoughts and feelings, first takes, any kind of insights or whatever. And you got to a lovely point talking about S07 when that kind of part of it came up, because one of the things I was thinking quite a lot about before the announcement is what would the formations be, or what would the restrictions be, or whatever. And when you started talking about it, I was like, yes, this is the sort of chat I need to be having now that we know it. Like what do we think the meta is going to be? What do we think could be do's and don'ts, that sort of thing, like things that will work out, things that won't. So yeah, when I heard you kind of chatting about that, great video. If anyone's not checked it out, recommend sticking it on for a listen, certainly. And I don't know how it was 50. I don't know what that means. Oh,
50 cents. Yeah.
10.
I only just got that then as
well.
well.
Called me 50 there. I was like, how was my birthday?
I was like,
kind of
Quinny's
thing.
not fucking 50. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but then it makes sense.
That was bro. It was like a 7-song encore or something like that. So it was legit. It was good, man. Good show.
Class.
Thanks for asking, by the way. It's thoroughly sunburnt off the back of it. Back and shoulders is done in, but there you go. But yeah, so like that was when it comes to this sort of chat. Obviously, I've been keeping up with the content you've been making on your own show as well. You had a video this week, and you were on Malaired yesterday, and I've been doing some bits and bobs myself. But the formation angle, as well as all the other stuff, I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah,
was one that I specifically thought, oh yeah, this is a good chat for me and Harry to have.
Oh, bless Andreas. He's just gifted a little membership. Oh, Andreas, man, you're an absolute legend. And I think Charlie sniped it.
Oh, Charlie.
Go on, Charlie. Love that. Absolute legend, mate. I appreciate that a lot. Welcome in, Charlie. Again, I think Charlie's been in before, but I'm excited to sort of chew that over with somebody, because most of my videos recently, just because of time and constraints or whatever, I've just been sort of solo, wingman in it, in that sense. And it's sometimes nice to, obviously I spoke with Led yesterday, but other than that, I don't really speak to anyone about Sorare like on stream, if that makes sense. So there is a few interesting points and stuff, and like you said, we do know everything without knowing, like, I don't know how ceiling works and stuff, but we know formations, but we haven't seen it play out, right? So it's all hypotheticals right now. What is going to be the meta? Like, is it just going to be going one lone striker, like like I mentioned in that video, 3 midfielders, and defense and stuff? It's going to be game by game, but there is going to be a lot of interesting little crinkles to it, though, because if you go triple defense and the goalie, like, you're not going to get the stack bonus, but at the same time, you could be getting a massive clean sheet bonus, right? You're getting 30 points plus the clean sheet from the keeper. You're looking at like 60, 70 points before XP. It's like 100 points basically at some, maybe depending on how good the cards are, if that team of whatever you've stacked has got the clean sheet. So there's going to be loads of little weird little crinkles that we haven't seen play out yet, so it's hard to imagine. But I think those two are probably a nice little starting point. Like, that could be massive, right? The whole clean sheet thing, especially in
I think triple defense is definitely one of the more interesting thoughts to have around it, because it's one of the clearest ways of like backing a result, or backing, they don't always necessarily need to be from the same team. Obviously, if you're lucky enough to have like Hakimi, Trent, and I don't know, someone else like Guardiola or something, I don't know, some crazy,
right.
But even the smash defenders is a triple, even though they're independent from one another. Like, that could be like It could be one of the safest ways of getting like, high point cards, because normally
Mhm.
defenders haven't cost that much. And on that note as well, I did want to kind of get your opinion on the goalkeeper change as well, because I've always kind of as well kind of, I think everyone does really, but kind of just look at goalkeepers as, you know, entry tickets almost, like they're all kind of random
Right.
number generators. But now with the 3 goals conceded being removed, is a good goalkeeper in that play as well? Is that worth stumping up for the extra 10%, 30%, whatever it is from a budget guy?
I don't know. I think you articulated it quite well when you spoke about it with Laird that one time. Like, in the sense of like, yeah, you know, shit keepers just get a little bit better. Well, maybe not a little bit, yeah, better, let's call it. And then like good keepers, their floor just becomes, yeah, even higher in that sense. Like, I don't think it makes much difference to their peak score because they're not conceding 3 anyway, really, are they, that often? So I don't even think it matters too much there. But I do think it makes the Sean Johnsons a little bit better, right? That's the easiest comparison I can give right now. I can't really think of a European like team / goalkeeper that would fit that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, sorry, like he always seems to concede, but like he always gets 10 to 15. Like, you know, so I do think it improves those goalies. I don't think it drastically improves them, but it definitely, you know, that worry of Jesus, man, I concede one more here, I'm fucking toast. Like, at least you don't have that thought. Like, yeah, you'll lose another 5 points, and it goes from 3 to 5 now. But if you've conceded 3, yeah, you've lost 15 points now, where before you would have lost the 9 plus the negative DA. So like that part is huge, right? Like because I remember when Led was digging into someone saying like the numbers weren't that crazy, right? But that scenario, that's a big difference, yeah? Or am I just missing something?
Yeah, I think maybe it offers the opportunity for there to be big goalkeepers. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Like, you know, will there
Yeah.
be big keepers that kind of show themselves, and then do they become must-haves? Like when we were looking at scores before we come on, you've got Pete on there with Jardim. And see if you look at Jardim's score, like conceded
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
saved a pen, but also had 35 AA, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So if you take away that negative decisive, he would have done 95 or no, sorry, he didn't get
Like
35 AA, my
80 or
mistake.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. But you take away that and they've lost 4-0.
And he still did an 80. Yeah, I know.
You know, so
Yeah.
do like keepers, is there like do we get a keeper meta all of a sudden where we've never had one before, maybe outside of the Courtois, Donnarumma kind of
Mm-hmm.
play, you know? Do some of these random guys now become like cheat codes almost because they face so much every
They
game?
face like the one that comes to mind just because I've recently swapped into him, and this wasn't the reason why I got him. Somebody just made me a random offer on my Kaminsky, who's obviously gone to Charlton, and I was like, you know what, I prefer a Belgium league keeper. There's not much difference, but like, you know, these sort of scores without, you know, well, with conceding. Oh, that was penalty save, penalty conceded. Fair enough. Is this one? Yeah, this is a 3 goals conceded. Like, okay, at 15 AA isn't crazy, but you take away that negative decisive and you add on, you need to add on 6 negative, wouldn't you? Because 3 to
Yep.
15, like he still conceded the 3. It's still a 19-point gap, isn't it? I think. Or what's negative decisive technically? 20, isn't it? Or do you
Yeah.
go from like 35? Yeah. So you're still gaining like 14 points there. Like turning a 29 into like a nearly a 50 does make a difference, like, you know, with
Yeah.
all the bonuses and stuff these days. And he was just an example just because he's literally the most recent keeper I've got. But yeah, I just think it brings the floor up on shit keepers, basically. Not shit, but, you know, keepers that face a lot of shots, but play on teams that just naturally are going to concede like high likelihood 3 every game. Whereas
Yeah.
Donnarumma, like, I think in a weird way, doesn't it like mess up Donnarumma? Because they never really concede 3, yeah, but he concedes 1 and 2. Well, now if you do that, you're going to lose 10 points, not 6. Do you get
Yeah.
what I'm
That's kind
saying?
of what I'm driving at, because the high end keepers are 35 or 65 for the most part,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if you've now got keepers that weren't getting slaughtered down to 15 points, that 35 is less, not that it was ever passable, you know, but it's less impactful because there'll be
Mm-hmm.
so many guys on 58s and 62s and 47s and whatever from the AA that they're catching from being busy. So yeah, like that's one of the things I think is like, will a goalkeeper be worth IDing and like, oh, you need this keeper or you need one of these 3 keepers because Donnarumma's not going to do it for you now. Courtois is not going to do it for you. All Black's not going to do it for you. They're too, like, their range is so small and there's no real upside compared to some other guys that can concede 4 and finish on 70. You know,
like his score against Nice here obviously increases because he conceded 3 would increase, but some of these where they concede 1, like he's down to 31 there, yeah, he's down to 32 there. Not that really matters, but like Lyon here, they conceded 2, so you're looking at what, 4 points less, 48. Like I don't think it like massively makes a difference, but it does impact these type of keepers like negatively, right? Like it has to.
I think the top 10% are less appealing now by a margin, not all the way, because the 65 to 70 pluses they pull in regularly enough is good, but
right.
I think there will be some sort of meta of mid-table goalkeepers, you know, that
I think so.
are busy and don't get, like, conceding 4 still minus 15 points. Like you say, that's a big hit to take. But if you can be that busy and only concede 1 or 2, or even the 3, you know, whatever, because that's the thing we're comparing that against from before. There's just that safety net of them not getting hammered down. But yeah, that in terms of the defense play, that's kind of the way my mind goes. Is, will the triple defense be like super common? And then what's the impact of the goalkeeper? Is there, like, if you're going to do the triple defense, you need that handy keeper that can bring in the 70s or the 80s or whatever.
Like imagine if people go Donnarumma, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Nuno Mendes, like that could be just ridiculous.
Yeah, but the defenders are carrying that, aren't they? That's quite clean sheet sensitive still. Whereas if it was like a Lille stack with Chevalier, random free Lille defenders that are all right, Chevalier might be the highest scoring one of the lot. Whereas Donnarumma's never going to be the, you know, and how important is that? I don't know, but that's something I've certainly been kind of chewing over, is the importance now of a goalkeeper that, can like AA their way through a game more than get the clean sheet.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just gonna have a little look through some of the comments because we've been behind a little bit. But did say I've been in the game for 5 seasons now, and this is the first time I have no idea what my plan will be. I was always under 23, then Super, then Prem, then MLS. Now there's so much I don't know what to do. Yeah, I felt like that, David, to be honest, before I kind of made that video where I set out, you know, on the Figma thing and just had all, you know, the graphics of the cards and stuff, and being like, okay, where am I in this comp? Where am I in that comp? And you might not have a footprint in all those comps, which is fine, but where is your footprint? If you don't have one, then then I get what you're saying. If you literally don't have any classic cards, which I don't know if you do or not, but yeah, it depends on your situation. But like for me, it's just, you know, identify where my highest scoring, highest XP cards theoretically are, and then it's like, you know, do I work around that, or do I lean into it? Do I not lean into it? I mean, they're all just generic things I'm saying there, but I think they definitely have a bit of merit. Looking for food. What's happening, mate? Dobbsy, what's the minimum amount of players you can get through to get a reward? You always could snipe them with a 4-man. I think that'll, when you say reward, like what are we saying? Like a card, or are we talking essence? Because I think you could maybe scrape some essence, because it feels like they're not individualized. Like individual essence won't be more, but I think more people will win essence, if that makes sense. Like it'll be distributed further along, just prize pools or leaderboards or whatever. So I think you could sneak a little 4-man, but they're not 4-man now, they're 6-men. You know, if we're talking classic anyway. In season, you know, if you're talking about that, then fine.
I think you might see a weird amount of 6-mans pulling the back end of the rewards, because
probably,
like if you have 5 smash, you know, 1 DNP and then a bang average keeper or something like that, you know,
100%.
that'll outscore enough S07 teams that just haven't delivered, you know, still the way it kind of does now with the 4-man smash and grab efforts.
Right. Is it just me that thinks that if you buy an in-season team for JPL, Eredivisie, Challenger, and Contender, it's very hard not to win £120 each team, with points being lowered? Is that like the first couple of thresholds, right? Aren't they? Yeah, they're lowered a little bit.
I kind of look at it as cashback, you know, because it's like, if you buy enough of them, it's kind of shooting fish in a barrel, you know.
Right.
And then down from that.
Hot streak. This one. But where's the 120 quid?
It's over the time period, so it's over like a month, I think. It's not just one game week.
It's like rinse and repeat. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. From July 25th to, so like a month. Okay. I mean, how many times would you have to rinse and repeat $16 to win £16? Sorry. Well, that's dollars actually.
I think he's looking at rare, maybe.
Okay.
So you do that twice.
Okay.
1-2 bust, 1-2.
But it's 5. That'd be 5 game weeks, wouldn't it? Because you'd have to miss one on the 3rd, and then go again on the 4th, if that makes sense. So 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem ridiculous, but that's just, that's just a clever little marketing thing for them to increase prices early on, right? Which we get, but that's the problem. And the prices might be so high that it doesn't really make sense. It could make sense in Contender because there's already Contender cards out there, aren't there? They're already in season 1s. So yeah, I think it's a bit fair. As goalkeepers and defenders didn't get anything for season 3, and still has a chance of a positive.
There is 5 weekends in that space, by the way.
There is 5 weekends, yeah. Okay. Carl says, after watching your video, H, picked up a classic Valverde in rare, hoping I can get a relatively cheap goalkeeper now. Love that, mate. Yeah, I think there is merit in getting like your Sorias and stuff in La Liga because, like we've already mentioned, like outside of the top, Barca, Real or whatever. Yeah, okay, you clean sheet probabilities aren't going to be that high, but they might AA themselves to a Courtois score purely on AA if you get pretty lucky. Liam King, what's happening, mate?
A good example, goalkeeper-wise, might be Dimitrovic, because he was a guy that conceded 3 a lot. And if you look at his games, like he's always got good AA. And his team get relegated ultimately in the end. So do you want a relegation fodder? Maybe is that maybe with a good keeper? Not a guy with. Look at his scores, man. Like
I bet Pickford does come out as
Pickford feels like a winner.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm just working my way through. Prob's not winning anything of value without a clean sheet. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest.
I think the clean sheet value, is minimised because like All Blacks and Donnarumma's, if they bring in a 62, there'll be guys that lose 3-0 that outscore them now.
Eyeing up the promoted team GKs. Yeah, I don't mind it. There's obviously jeopardy, but yeah, I don't mind it. I think you'll see a lot of top end keepers be 30 merchants now. That's one reason I don't like the removal of the negative DA for 3 goals. Yeah, I mean, it does flip it on its head. It definitely does. I have a feeling the in-season cards might actually be reasonable this year. What do you reckon? Yeah, we'll get into that now. Going to be strange saying I want something from a 6-man. I know. Mikey Baston, what's happening, mate? James, howdy, boys. Will the first game week of SPFL season be S05 or does S07 come into play a bit later on? Do you know that, Quinny?
Everyone will be S07, but they're doing that league battle thing. So they're not doing the division Royal Rumble thing until everything's set. So the first couple of weeks, it'll be like a mega leaderboard for everything before they implement divisions once everything in the regions are available. So it'll be S07, but it'll be one division before they do the Battle Royale thing to split it up once all the licenses are out.
Yeah. Right, let's go back to Halty's question then about what he thinks that in-season cards of like price-wise will be quite reasonable this year. What do you reckon on that, Quinny?
Well, I think it felt like coming into this last year, people had learned their lesson from overspending early on Prem cards and whatever. But again, like you and Laird brought up last season, Scottish cards went crazy because they were the first ones on the block and everyone just like overspent out their face on them, which just meant obviously I was getting nowhere near them, of course.
Literally, they were insane, weren't they?
I think Belgium has the potential to do that because it does have a really strong like community. It's got a really strong they are buzzing. Like the Belgians and the Dutch guys are buzzing for this season. They are rubbing their hands together. So I wouldn't be surprised if those two were unexpectedly, and I say unexpectedly, just the landscape of the game priced above a lot of other stuff. But outside of that, I feel there's maybe a bit more kind of maturity in the market now with auctions. We've had early access already, and it feels like as well, there's a lot of exhausted wallets out there also, like where people are just like, I'm not doing that again last year or, whatever, I think Belgium and Holland could be the outliers, but I think otherwise, yeah, I think you could, if you're got your plan of attack and you've got your wallet set and you kind of know who you're looking after, I think you might be surprised at what you can pick up.
I definitely think, people are gonna. Well, we saw it with the Celtic, the Celtic and Scottish cards last year, but like you said, probably coming first, the legacy in the game and stuff, and the community that sort of has with it. It's very hard not to see these come out the gates, flying, to be honest, Halty. Like, in my opinion, they're giving out the 1 of 100s as well first. So or one of 1,000. So, Kerry, very important point here, lads. 13 likes. I think we've got 56 of us watching. It's not a great ratio, if I'm being honest. So sort it out. And I think one of them is me, because I liked it as soon as I put it up last night. So if you could leave a little like, lads, that would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I do worry that the Jupiler League cards could just go for astronomical amounts compared to what we eventually see, Portuguese cards or Superliga cards, or Super League, cards. And then, like, my worry for the Eredivisie, which is, I think, I mentioned it with Laird yesterday, like the fact that it's just before the Prem, and I think they could end up going under the radar for that reason, just because then you get into the big four leagues. Totally. I really think that could, maybe even these two as well. I don't know. I worry, because it's kind of a good thing if that happens, but that's my hunch. I do feel like Jupiler cards are just going to go for stupid amounts because we have nothing to compare them with. We know that, right? The price discovery is really hard to gauge if there's no other in-season cards. And I know it says single league comp, but say, for example, Eredivisie cards came out first and they went for X. Well, Jupiler League cards, you can win less with them. So they surely have to, like, Vanaken should be less than fucking Joey Veerman type of thing. Whereas because Hans is coming out first, he could go to whatever, right? That's the big worry.
Of course. I think as well, like, I was having this chat with somebody the other day. I won't say who it was in case they don't want it to be revealed, but I suspect a lot of the whale accounts coming into this season will target Jupiler and Eredivisie over Challenger and Contender, like, because of the streak availability, and I think like the manageability of it being a single league comp where you're not against the Wild West, you're not against everyone and anyone. You can just buy Ajax and Bruges and, for the most part, plug and play, or PSV, or whatever you want to say. There's clubs there. That the bigger accounts could easily do a plug and play effort. Or it's easier to keep on top of who's available, who's in form, signings in and out, that sort of thing. So the Eredivisie one's got an interesting position there, because if that is maybe the strategy for bigger accounts, more ambitious accounts, Wales, whatever, there will be big spend on Jupiler, but then people might be holding that wallet for Eredivisie and Prem, So, like you say, a lot of them could be quite reasonable, those ones in that sandwich there, where if something good comes up, you might see people dipping into the market, but in the main collections, squads, stacks, they might be a bit easier to put together than they have been before.
No, I definitely agree there. Hannah says the SPFL also had this single league comp before the cards came out. Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. Which is fair. We didn't have League 2 last year, I believe. I think we had a couple of licenses, but we definitely didn't have the league, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure what will be in that, because Bundesliga 2 last year was only like 6 squads or something like that. It wasn't the full division. Okay, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was like 10, but it wasn't the full division for Bundy 2. And I don't think League 2 will be much different to maybe what we've seen in the past.
I don't know. The fact they've got all like the license, I don't know. I really don't know. Does the Eredivisie come out on the 1st? People are forgetting that everyone's loyalty boxes will be available then, so everyone will have market credits to spend. That's assuming there's market credits in them. I know there is in some of them, but yeah.
The loyalty boxes come out the day the Prem launches.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so it'll be before, Eredivisie comes out before then, technically, I think. JPL starts on the 24th, though. Prices will be higher. Yeah, JPL, excuse me, starts literally 10 days or something, right? Or less than that. 8 days. What's this? Contender is the strange one because you can use J. Yeah, there is something to that. Like you're saying, you think single league comps, Eredivisie and Jupiler will be more expensive than Challenge Contender, which I completely agree with. I do, for sure. But I do think if you're looking for a bargain, but if you're willing to do the research, I think going into the muddy waters of Contender and Challenger can be quite fruitful if you can work your way around those leagues, because there's just multiple leagues, right? There's just more to choose from. I just think it could pose more of an opportunity than maybe the single league comps. The single league comps, they feel cleaner. There's less jeopardy. You're not playing against other leagues, obviously. But at the same time, I do think if you're willing to just get your feet wet a little bit, I think you could probably do pretty well from Challenger and Contender, just because there's so many options. And Contender already has in-season cards, as Dobbs is saying here, so that obviously adds to kind of that. Yeah, so I do think that's pretty interesting.
I like the non-European angle in Contender with those that cashback thing we looked at a minute ago. Like if you've got cards River and whoever else like cooking, you just rub your hands together when that stuff comes around. Obviously, the prices of those guys are on the way down. So like if you want to just get into the competition and then like use your classics to get you European guys as time rumbles on, it's a kind of handover thing. Like that could be a good move as well, because the price of those cards against, like we're talking about doing 120 over 5 game weeks. I dare say you could buy an S05 JK Argentina stack for 120.
Pennies,
yeah. Goalkeepers are like 40 quid, and then what else are you talking about really beyond that? Like maybe a peak player's like 50 quid or something.
And what you need to hit?
A bunch of guys at like 10ers and 5ers and stuff,
270 points, like
yeah.
It's nothing, is it? I mean, 330. Like as long as you get your captaincy semi right, you struggle to not hit that.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. We'll be interested with Jupiler because cannot pick and choose. If you're buying, you've got to take seriously as strange to be buying a few cards only. What do you mean by that, Mikey? How do the loyalty boxes get decided? I've been playing for 3.5 years. I vested a lot last season, got a silver box. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a combination of like what you spend times how long you've been here, I believe, but it's definitely heavily on what you spend, like in the last year or whatever. Alex Coombs, what's happening, mate? Oh, we're getting a few mornings. Lloyd, what's happening, pal? What can we expect? It depends. It depends, mate, to be honest. Well, no one knows really. And we kind of know that there might be some market credits in there, right? That's like the only thing we know right now.
Yeah, market credits is highly suspected. But there's also this thing, we were talking about it before coming on. Some people have it on their Sorare page, but not me and Harry. And it's called the Sorare Wheel. So there may be some wheel tickets in there as well. And it's on this page that Harry's on, but where the Sorare logo just was, it's a very slim banner. You can click on it and it takes you in. But I think it's going to be like a repurposed, the thing they've did before with early access, like buy a card on auction or instant buy, 95% chance you get a crumb of essence, 5% chance it's something better. I think it'll just be that mechanism, but you'll get a ticket when you buy a card, and then you can like save your tickets up and go and have a few spins. Be better for me and Harry to make videos on, and Nep and whoever else, obviously. But I think it's just that kind of system redone. So there might be a few of those tickets in the loyalty box. There might be, try and stuff it with stuff like that. XP, credits, tickets. You can imagine them trying to push the one is all buzzing. I expect that day Premier League comes out, these boxes open up. They're hoping for the hills to be alive with the sound of happy scouts and managers, aren't they?
I think so. David says, after listening last night, I can't believe how I ignored Challenge. I strongly believe Challenge is now the easiest for Streaks, Celtic, Rangers, Gala, Fenner, Sporting, etc. Yeah, I don't think I can really disagree with that, to be honest. Yeah, I think non-European route in Contender is the cheapest way to play Streaks. I think that's just a fact outside of MLS. Not that MLS is cheap, but
that's quite cheap now.
Yeah, I mean, like Gil's still like 200 quid roughly. Well, on the dot actually, but yeah. You can buy 2 or 3 cards in rare for Contender, make at least half back in the promo, and you've got the rest of the season to make the Streaks. You can buy. Yeah, but like, how good are those cards is the issue, right? Like, you probably still need to be. You could probably buy like very mediocre cards and do like the level 1, level 2, rinse and repeat, maybe like quite easily. But it depends on. Are those cards able
to? You like the classic as well.
True. Yeah. You'll have the classic. Alf, there's too much to basically say in right now. To be honest, mate, there's so much. We've made videos. There's videos on my channel and Quinny's channel, like going through the whole thing. You need a good 30, 40 minutes, mate, to take it all in, if not more. So yeah, that's just it. Mike says, because Jupiler being league only this time, last season you could buy cards like the Lord and then wait to pick up your Eredivisie cards. Good point. Yeah. Well, that's what Quinny was saying, is like Whaley accounts will just be not lazy, but just buy Bruges basically and buy Genk and just buy it all basically, and not have to worry about anything else and get the collection bonus that way, not worry about waiting to pick up Joey Veerman and whatever. I love the idea of not stacking. I've always been a non-stacker personally. Single league comps make it harder. Not saying you can't do it, But like, for example, I'd buy Zorgan, I'd buy a Lord, I'd buy whoever up front. I don't know, Promise David. Like, I've got like 3 different players there from 3 different teams, whatever the defensive stack may be. It doesn't matter. But like, I've always loved that idea. I'm not saying I get punished for doing that now, because you obviously get the non-stacking bonus, which is nice. It's not huge. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You have to shop in the whole, you're shopping in that league specifically, aren't you, Mike, rather than, elsewhere as well. If loyalty boxes could be credits plus XP to give you an edge on new players, maybe, yeah. But everyone I know has been saving up their XP for a while. Toby, are you doing this full time? I believe so. I don't want to speak for Quinny, but I'm pretty sure this is what we do.
This is what we do. This is the
Wake
show.
up at 6 a.m. in the morning to stream. Grind's real.
Yeah.
Sorry, people are just chatting with each other. Kaz, what's happening, mate? Joey heavily linked to Saudi. Is he really? Wouldn't surprise me if he went. Biggest ever game week, Quinny?
Depends on the sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
In terms of like monetary win, I think it was card. I won Super Rare Cap 240, which got us like 200 quid, which was great. But I got a unique for that, so that's kind of like the biggest one as a card. Kyogo was a big win, and that was quite a big win money wise, because I'd already had a Kyogo, so I managed to keep the Celtic one but sell the Vissel Kobe one, and I think I sold that for like 1.8 ETH, give or take, and that may have been like the thick end of $4,000 or something. So yeah, it just brings to mind rares and stuff like that. I don't think the podiums ever paid out much whenever I was on them. It was more like the card win. The podium cash was there. It was nice, but it wasn't mega compared to what it is now. And last year I didn't podium in season.
James is on the other side of the world, so
of course.
Yeah. I reckon.
What about you, Harry? Biggest game week?
I mean, it's either Yamal.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yamal, but like at the time, Vinny was huge. Vinny rare. That was like a couple grand. I didn't sell him. Obviously, I still have him. Pedri rare. But again, he wasn't worth like a ton at the time. Yes, Yamal. I won a like I said, I have won a remember that I won 240 as well. Just before it left, I won that unique Ojeda, Angulo. He wasn't. I traded him, to Nando, but like, yeah, that was the only unique I've ever won. Yeah, it's definitely Yamal, I would say. It's got to be. Can't think of anything else that's like as much as that. No chance. Oh yeah, your Salah this year, Quinny.
Yeah, Salah was good. If I won it earlier in the season, it might have been up there.
Yeah,
value wise, but yeah, that was a good one. High card.
Sorry, what was this from Sean? I reckon I have paid 250 quid for 3 teams in Contender Rare. Should get at least 120 from the first 5 game weeks, 260 if I hit the 3rd streak, and then you have the rest. Yeah. No, I don't think it's that if we're talking those sort of numbers, I'd be shocked if you don't make back 250. To be honest, without knowing the players and stuff. But having 3 teams gives yourself a massive edge on that. Quinny, what do you think on the do you think you really have to go all in? Like, say, you've got somebody, they want to play Eredivisie and they want to play Jupiler. This is just the example, and they go two teams in both. Would you encourage that, or would you say go for all in?
The problem you've got with different team players in these situations is when they play each other. A lot of people struggle with that mentally. And reality is it does reduce the possibility of them both scoring well if they're both on good teams. Most of the time, only one will prevail. Yeah. So if you were to do like Bruges defense stack, and then like you were chatting about there, you go get Zorgan, you go get this guy, you go get that guy.
Right.
Well, the Belgian league's pretty small. They're going to play each other 3 times before the split. I don't think they're doing splits anymore, actually. So maybe they see what their league structure is. But, these smaller leagues, Belgium and Scotland in particular, they play opposition 3-4 times a year. So if you've got Zorgan versus your Bruges stack 3 times a year, that's 3 times a year where you're either going to be heavily conflicted to put them together, or if you do put them together, the reality is the likelihood is one will prevail. There is a possibility, and I never rule it out myself because I don't really care about that element, to be honest with you, so much, where they both still could score well, that one doesn't need to be exclusive to the other. Mm-hmm. But when you're going multi-team into single league, I think that's You don't really feel that problem as much about MLS because of how big the league is, how varied the fixture list is, where you play 2 teams from your own conference home and away, and then you get a random hash bash of the other conference home and away. So it kind of, you don't really feel that element as much. But I think in Belgium, you'll really feel it if you do mix and match stuff, especially if you go like a full Genk and a full Bruges. You know, like mixing them up will be fine most weeks, but then you will just need to pit them against each other, and that kind of halves your return most of the time, you would think, on that situation. So it's a funny one. You need to be mindful and careful of, I think, now for those single leagues.
If you go 2-2, like 2 teams in Eredivisie, 2 in JPL, like you can win 2 streaks a week.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go 4-1, you can only win 1 streak in that week.
Sorry. So was that a versus kind of thing? I didn't get that.
Yeah, like where's your money better off? You're better off going balls deep into one comp. It doesn't have to be those 2. You know, the comparison could be Prem and whatever. But I just mean going 4 all in, meaning that like on paper you've probably got a better chance of winning that specific streak because you've just got more quality, right? 4 teams going in compared to going 2-2 or even 1-1-1-1, like 4 different leagues, Jupiler, Eredivisie, Prem, Bundes or whatever. Like you could win 4 streaks doing that, but you can't if you just go all in on JPL. But you could probably hit a few nice little leaderboard victory. You know, like that's the thing I'm sort of wrestling with is like, how much do I spread myself across the in-season comps? And then do I eventually go to 2 each time and then 3, like build throughout the season? Or do you go balls deep first couple of weeks? I'm getting 4 lineups and that's it in one league, you know?
I think, yeah. So it's more about lineups than the teams. I get you. So I think like overall, like the best way to go about it for either one of them is have a team, and then you're kind of playing fantasy football with the rest of the league. You know,
Right.
like just go and get that defender, that forward, that mid, and then you've got your core, and you kind of play around with the edges and the wild cards and whatever. But yeah, I think the way I always think about it is like building the first team is the only thing you ever really need to think about with multi-entry that we had last year. Like you shouldn't really be buying guys unless they're collection pieces, thinking, oh, this guy's going to make team 3 a lot better. You should always be kind of looking to make, at the very least, team 2 better. But when you're starting out like this, it's like, does this guy influence team 1? And when you're kind of looking at it with that regard, like you probably will end up in your scenario of having 2 lineups, and you'll have like a prime and a subprime, or an A and a B, or something like that. You know, good fixture, bad fixture, form, off form. So I would probably go with the 2 is like the 2 across the board rather than already thinking about it. Depends on your wallet, I suppose, and your expertise, your ability to pick up the league, follow the league, know about the league already. But I think if you're coming into it thinking, right, how do I get across it all? I would be thinking about just building one team in each of them, but knowing to build one team, you will need like 10 to 12 players.
Yeah.
And then kind of engineering it that way, you know, like how would that look? It's probably still going to be 7 Bruges players, but then the other 4 or 5, 2 are Anderlecht, 2 are Charleroi, 1 are USG, or you know, whatever, and then you've just got different cycles to kind of play with. So I think that's the way to go about it, rather than you can almost secure it, like you say, with doing the 4 entry thing. But with the 4 entry thing, like the best way to maximize that is, there's probably 2 schools of thought: have 4 as close to identical teams as possible with an alteration across them, or 4 entirely different teams. And I think 4 entirely different teams could blow up in your face where you get nothing, like quite easily, more often than not. And the other one obviously could blow up in your face because it is just all or nothing. You know, if the one team doesn't score, they lose 2-0 or something like that, you're just screwed. It doesn't matter how good they are, sort of thing. So yeah, I think the way to think about it is one team across the leagues if you're looking to spread across. And yeah, it really depends on your budget how far you can spread it from there.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because like if you did have the majority of the Bruges starting 11, for example, in Jupiler, like that could probably spread across 2 teams quite easily, couldn't it? Realistically, without like duplicating a player, like you could probably get 8 players, for the outfielders and be quite confident like over 2 teams. You can switch up the goalie if you want or whatever, but Sean reckons, going balls deep in one league would obviously help you aim for the higher streaks, which I think is a valid point, depending on the quality of the players and whatever. But getting tier 5 ones will pay off multiple streaks Yeah, 1 to 2 level. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, say if you did have 2 teams in, 4 different leagues, and like Challenger, Contender, Eredivisie, Jupiler, say, so you got 8 teams across 4 different comps. Like, could you rinse and repeat the lower, the lowish 1 to 3 levels? Because you're not going to have good fixtures every week if you've only got like 2 teams worth of players. Really, you might, but you'd be very. I think you'd be very lucky to. So, obviously, having the 4 sets of teams in one comp would mean that like you basically got like a primary good matchup every week is obviously the advantage of having that, isn't it? Just more depth means more chance of good matchups every week, basically. That's kind of the way I look at that. If
I
you've
think
got more different teams though.
that's exactly it. I think that
Yeah,
strategy works when you don't just have Bruges, but you have Antwerp and Anderlecht, and you like are genuinely like balls deep end, covering all the
100%.
bases.
Yeah.
Who's at home? Who smashes? Oh, it was this guy that was expected. This guy was on, whatever. I don't think you could do that with. So I think that's an expensive play, but I think that is quite a safe like play on. Like you should be successful, but it's just how can you line them up? Can you ring them up to a 5-win streak to make it totally cash in?
100%. Andreas thinks balls deep is the way, but he would argue you would get further with 2 really good teams than 4 decent ones, which I think, nobody should argue against really, unless you want to go for the farming, the lower thresholds, which, that obviously will be a viable strategy, especially in like Contender, like we've said, with the JPL, the J League, K League, and the Argentinian in season card. Like that's very doable. Yeah.
Maybe it's next season the Belgian league changes its structure. Pierre's just checked it out for us. Says there's nothing there, but
Someone called me out on my Armenian football knowledge earlier. Let me have a look.
oh mate, I couldn't believe it when you said that.
Did I? I don't. I
Listen,
don't know if I think I would have said in a passing comment because like I wasn't. I'll be honest. Like I wasn't checked into that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't like, oh my god,
yeah,
fucking like obviously it's Mkhitaryan, but
it was
like
in response to a comment. I was like, how can you
yeah,
not say
someone.
Mkhitaryan?
Yeah,
How
I
is
was.
Mkhitaryan?
I'll be honest. I just wasn't like checked in at
Fair
that
enough.
point. Like,
It did make me audibly say something, but when I was listening to it, I was like, what?
I
Or
would
something.
have
I was
even
like,
known I said like I would have just been like a pass. Yeah, of course he said Ariane because he's playing now of it, type of
yeah.
thing. Not that Mkhitaryan isn't playing like he's been playing, but that was literally
It's so
just
funny somebody else picked up on that.
that's
Oh,
hilarious.
that's all like, oh, you should know that,
That's
But it was
hilarious,
like
man.
somebody else commented. You were just you and Laird were just kind of chuckling along
They
with
were
it.
throwing so many names. It was because who was it? Agent Cooper was just getting everything wrong, basically.
Yeah.
And I just think I was just completely checked out. Yeah, but no, I don't know. It will be really really interesting to see. Like I want to play so many of the different comps, but I don't want to spread myself too thin and just kill myself basically by just going. Oh, I've only got one lineup in each league. Like you've got to be quite measured, I think, with with where you choose to sort of play. I really do think.
I think you need to be. I think you need to be very particular where you spend your money
Mm-hmm.
because where you have no control over, of course, is classic rewards, which as we know there'll be arenas and let's see how all
Mm-hmm.
that shakes out and whatever. But core comp is Champ All Star U23, so everything we're talking about is a classic All Star card, which
Yeah.
means they will win anything they want to win. Like that's just, there's no control over that at all. So I think we should all, anyone watching this stream, anyone that's been playing the game longer than a season and a half, whatever. But if you're brand new, I don't want to exclude you from the conversation in that regard. But anyone that's got like a legacy collection of any note, I think you need to be open to let the rewards lead you somewhere. You'll win a keeper from somewhere, and it's like, okay, there's a £30 defender to go in that league as well. It doesn't need to be a pair, obviously. A stack or whatever. There's a 50 quid captain I like. There's a striker that works. Cool. Now that I've got one piece, I've got a classic card to use. I've just won an in-season keeper. I can go and get the other 3 in-seasons off the market. Easy enough, and we get it rolling from there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like, somebody was asking me about my crafting strategy. I'm not crafting anything until Bundesliga cards are in, because Bundesliga is the last one to go.
Okay.
And it's like, they'll be in the factory. I think it's 2 weeks after early access. So it's like end of August. I'm not crafting anything until end of August because I want everything in the factory. I don't want
Got
to
you.
just do it and there's only Scotland and Belgium and crap like that, which obviously it will work for me and I'll be able to use them. But I'm going to save up my essence even more and I'm going to wait until everything's in or, I'm going to try and get every bit of it I can together and then kind of run for it because, yeah, you've got no control what you're going to craft. You've got no control, also the game that they're setting up for us. You may be able to pick your league or whatever. But yeah, I think that's why, like, if you are spending money on early access, it kind of has to be a complete strategy you buy rather than a footprint effort, because you might buy your little Belgian footprint, but then in All-Star Classic, you might not win a Belgian card until December, like,
Right.
or one you can use at least anyway, and in which time you've won 2 Scottish cards, a Turkish card, and 3 Dutch cards, So I think if you have a wallet as well, you maybe need to keep a wee 10%, a wee 20% on ice to maybe just then, I've won a great card out of nowhere. Let me go and build around it. You can sell it and turn that around, obviously. That's always a move. But yeah, if you're looking to go across the board anyway, the rewards might actually open the door for you rather than, this one makes more sense than that one.
100%. It's just the issue is like these cards come out before we can even play them. Do you know what I'm saying? So like you have to be patient in the sense of like, not buying the early mints and hopefully winning a card or two first game week, and then that, like you said, maybe dictates where you end up going. Sorry, let me go back to David Taylor saying he's 50-50 on getting on the early mints or wait into the 9 to 10th with MLS. They actually rose massively after the initial mints. Yeah, they did. I can't remember if the first mint with MLS was the one of 100s. It could have been. If they weren't, then that could be a bit tricky because this time it is. They did, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be strange because people seem to get a bit cautious on the first couple, and then like what David Taylor says, people go, hang on a minute, the first one's only went for that, and then everyone starts bidding on the 7th, 8th, 9th, and and 10th and so on. So, yeah, that does make a weird dynamic. Then if everyone's doing that, then the first mints are gonna be really expensive. I think you need to focus on 2 to 3 league specific comps, and then that you're super focused on, and then maybe a stack or a cheap team in the other league comps. I mean, it all just comes down to your budget at the end of the day, realistically. Pierre says, I will craft the week before Bundesliga. It only affects the neutral essence bit. My champ essence will still be spread over the 3. I don't think I have specific Bundes comp essence. So you don't even care about Bundesliga, basically, Pierre. Is that what?
Fair enough.
I guess that's what's saying. I think I might skip the Danish league.
You've been winning essence along that way as well.
What do you say?
Because you'll be winning essence along the way as well. So Bundesliga is last because it's the last one to kick off as well. So by that time, like, Prem might be in play, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's why I'm waiting.
Goalkeepers every player can get injured, but Olofsson I think got injured, didn't he, for Midtjylland. I think I'm going to stick to limited challenger for the season. Obviously, I need a Celtic stack, but going to target the teams that also have European fixtures. So I don't know. I like not going for those type of cards personally, like teams wise. I know all the best teams normally play in those leagues, and you can't really avoid it, but it's just the rotation jeopardy that scares me a lot of the time with that. But yeah, like unfortunately, all the Portuguese teams in Challenger, like the best ones, are obviously all in Europe and stuff. So it does get really tricky with that. Actually,
midweeks were valuable this season.
They were if you had like PSG and stuff. Like if you had good cards, but that's baked into their price, obviously. No, you're right. They were for sure. But like if you just buying a middle of the road, like if you're buying a team like Celtic, for example, like it's not going to be valuable for Celtic cards midweek. Like let's just be honest, like not really.
Well, there should be 2 or 3 games where there's a good chance because of the way.
Yeah, but then you're still up against PSG playing it. In that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
It's not as if they're on their own being good. It's like they've still got to play against like all the good teams in Europe. You give yourself a chance maybe for 2 game weeks, but I don't think it's necessarily like a separator of sorts. That's my only issue. Is like you're buying good teams in their domestic league, but then obviously when they come to Champions League, or whatever league they're in, it gets a bit dicey. But with PSG in that, last season anyway, obviously that wasn't the case. But it's hard. Like PSG might not be the team this year to do that with. Like quite easily could be fucking Real or something, couldn't it? Like you just don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, the auction rate was lower. Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what the auction rate will be. Oh, Pierre is correcting me. He does care, but he doesn't have league-specific essence. I don't care more about Bundesliga than the other three comps. You'll just spread the neutral over. Yeah, that makes sense. Did you ever find out about your contender essence from Celtic teams will become challenger essence when updated?
No, they never get back to me.
No. That's such a Mikey Baston thing to think of, by the way.
Yeah, it was a good question. It came up in the Telegram group. I reached out to Sorare because they were saying, like, obviously I've won all this contender essence from Celtic cards,
right?
And now they're challenger. So I've now got all this contender essence from Celtic cards that are no longer in contender. You know, so can
If I had to guess, they're not going to change.
I have no challenger essence, so am I actually incapable of crafting Celtic cards right now?
I don't think they'll change it personally. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, probably.
But you're right. Yeah, you would be incapable technically, right?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, no, technically. Like I don't have challenger essence, so
right.
As soon as they are challenger kind of tagged, I can't even pull them.
Kind of true, James, but at the same time, Turkey play all the way through now, and Celtic have to contend with Turkey over that period. So it's not as like a, lone wolf type of thing where the Scottish League and Contender was kind of like the only thing around, really.
That's kind of good for the prize pools, but because there's more teams
good for the prize
pools,
good for the prize pools, but more competition. Like there's no way around that.
By the way, I think I think they've said it in the blog, but just to double check for you, Harry, English Championship is Contender now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mo said with it. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds kind of there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one actually. I didn't think about that, like especially with Celtic and Austrian cards as well. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer because they've changed region and
Need to get winning challenger essence pronto.
You were Mr. Anti-Challenger as well all season.
Yeah, I just had nothing in it. Yeah. Kind of got that way with Contender now. I've got a video. It's on the member section and it'll be out on Thursday, I think. But I kind of start to look at my non-champ stuff and what to keep and all the rest of it. Because again, like thinking about formations, we spent a wee bit of time talking about the defense element there. But when you do look at like regions, or you don't even need to look at the region because in Classic it's All-Star. Right. Some of those Contender mids, are you going to go triple mid like Shaqiri, Barco, and Vanizek? Yeah. Like triple mid, like, and just absolutely swing for the fences. Yeah, it feels a double forward is not going to be vogue, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends who the forwards are, I think. But like, in Champ, I don't see people not going like Yamal, Rafinha. I can see that happening. And then Pedri and whoever. Like, I can kind of.
S07, it's Champ. It's not La Liga or anything like that.
So like, you do have a good bunch of options to pick from, even if forwards are sort of harder to come by. You've literally just got everyone like shoved in one big pool, and it's just going to be mental. I think genuinely, like Classic. Yeah, I've got loads of cards to play in Classic, but am I expecting to be like yielding cards left, right, and center? It's just like a fucking lottery, isn't it? Like I have good enough cards, I think, on paper to compete, but that's a different question to actually compete in. So, we know the prize pools, but like we don't know how many people are entering yet. Like that's one thing that people are going to get spooked by. I think like there's going to be some massive numbers flying around, especially All-Star. I know there's a deep pool in that, but there's still going to be tens of thousands of lineup in rare. There's going to be like crazy amount of lineups in limited All-Star. Like you're just going to feel a bit you're just going to feel like 3 foot tall type of thing, where like it's just very hard to get a leg up. So I don't know. Classic could just look so off-putting in that sense. Not that you can really avoid it unless you obviously sell your cards, but I don't know. It's going to be weird, really weird.
I'm quite looking forward to the Classic one, to be honest with you. I think S07's a nice kind of fresh turn of pace, and I'm quite looking forward to it. I know it's going to be super tough, but yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. And I say the formation part is the one that I'm really, I would have liked it to be a little bit more flexibility, maybe 2 extra spots rather than just the one, because it feels like, obviously we've mentioned it, like it really feels you could put a real good defense strategy together.
Yeah,
but there's not really the ability to go gung ho,
Jim said, I think people underestimate how hard Streaks are. Seems like have 3 rare MLS teams, all the best players, yet still have yet to hit the highest streak. Evander, for example, gets 390s and a 50 and stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the MLS is not different, but like it's very hard to get clean sheets in the MLS. Jamie is be the biggest thing I would say there. Now, on the contrary to that, like there's not many Evanders in JPL, so like it kind of balances out. But at the same time, like you know, the defensive stack element or the lack of in MLS is very hard to like, yeah, sort of like just get streaks with. You know, like you're asking your Gil, Evander, and Messi to just carry it, which it does. And then obviously you've got Wagner and whatever, but yeah, I just think MLS is a very different scoring sort of capability league-wise than the other European leagues. And I'm not downplaying what you're saying, though. I do think people underestimate how hard streaks are, given they might not have even played the MLS ones. Like I'm on the second streak, like I haven't got further than the third streak personally, and I've got a decent amount of cards, but not 3 teams worth, I would say, of like really good. But I've definitely got, you know, a decent amount of cards at this point. Anyway, I didn't have them at the start, so yeah, it's not easy. Like I've got 3 in-season teams going for this week. Like there's some good. They're not all unbelievable players, but there's some good ones in there. But yeah, it's tough. It's fucking, the streaks are solid, man. Like they're fucking really, yeah, really, really hard.
I think MLS is probably the most volatile league in Sorare or world football. You know, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be one bit surprised on a Sorare basis, on a betting basis or whatever. MLS probably has the most unfancied outcomes or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
you betting on it, you got no chance. Yeah.
It's not even underdogs or whatever, but it, you know, like it's the most likely thing to happen doesn't happen as often in MLS as it does in the Prem or Bundesliga or whatever, you know, like even at the bottom or the middle end, you know, it's not even just that there's no Real Madrid in the league or whatever, but there's no like Betises, there's no Villarreals, there's no, you know, whatever.
Right.
That's the way you need to do it with MLS, is you just need to be pure fantasy football and put a 5 together. But at that, again, it's mad RNG on all of them. Who's home, who's away, who's got a good fixture, who's played 4 games in a row and is maybe getting a bit leggy, you know, or, you know, whereas I think Europe, it'll be easier to navigate. I don't think it'll be easier to get to streak 5, but I think it'll be way easier to get to streak 1 and to hit streak 1 and 2 in Europe than MLS.
Yeah, I think the floor will be easier to hit rather than like I think MLS is probably suited to like the peak, because your Gil, Evander, Messi, if you got them, can do 90 easily, which is crazy to say, but they just can. Yep. Whereas I think, yeah, you're right in saying like the floor of the European streaks are probably easier just because there's just less volatility. And like you said, with betting and stuff, like if you look on like the odds of the, you know, the MLS teams, they're not like they're very similar each side every time, and the draw and whatever. Like the only thing I would bet on if I was a betting man, like as far as bookies go, I would just be doing like goals or assists of Gil, Evander and stuff. There's no way you're betting on like team outcomes in the MLS because, like you said, there's no way to tell. Like it's so hard.
Even goals, like, you know, both teams to score over 2.5 goals, all this stuff. You think, oh, that game's going to be full of goals, and it's fucking 0-0 or 1, you know, and it's so like the unfancied thing happens so often, but it's not even the most obvious unfancied thing, like the underdog beats the big team or whatever. It's just you expect there to be goals. There's no goals. You expect somebody to be solid defensively, they get hammered, you know, or whatever. But yeah, MLS as well. Like once you get onto the 3rd streak or even the 4th, it's way easier to say, oh, if I buy that guy, I've got a much better chance of the next spot getting hit next week. In Europe, any league you want to think about, if you go into streak 3 or 4, without like totally buying a superstar, there's not that obvious kind of market to walk into and go, oh, that guy means next weekend I've got a better chance of hitting streak 4. Like, there's less Evanders and Messi's kicking about. And then even at that, so there's rotation, there's minute management, there's different fixture strengths, etc. So yeah, I think Europe will be harder to even progress your team actively. Like MLS, I was listening to Deacon Laird, and he was talking about how he got to like the 3rd or 4th streak, and he knew like, oh, bringing the Wagner in season would have been a difference for him. And in Europe, like, yeah, maybe like for the league specific ones, there is a little bit of that will be transferable from MLS to Europe, but I don't think it will be as much of a given. Like, of course, Wagner in season is going to make a difference, you know. How many like that could you say that about in Europe when
not many
step 3 and 4? Yeah, not many, and they probably don't come cheap.
Right. Like I think Europe's going to be like so heavily matchup based compared to MLS. Like, it doesn't matter where Gil's playing. He's going to probably score you a 60 base type of thing, you know, most of the time. You don't need to really think about it. Yeah, with your defenders, you might need to, and your goalkeeper, fine. Whereas I think Europe, like matchups and having favorable matchups is going to be everything. I think like there's not many matchup proof players in Europe outside of like PSG and stuff, but they all, you know what I'm saying? Like there's not many Carlos Heels playing for fucking some like really bog standard Eredivisie team that just smashes every week. Like it to the degree that he does, like it just doesn't exist. But it's the fact that obviously MLS, all the teams are basically the same, barring a couple of, you know, barring like, you know, Inter Miami and stuff because they don't have a budget and what they have, unlimited budget or whatever. So yeah, they're just so different. You know, they're very, very different. No, I wouldn't say BTTS always happens. It like like it does, but like it doesn't. You know, like you can get 1-0s and 0-0s quite easily sometimes in MLS in the games that you really think there's BTTS. You know.
Yeah, and you look at New York City.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was speaking to the other day about Hanyo said I don't think his scores are good enough, but he was convinced they were and should be worth more. Yeah, Hanny's been good. I mean, Hanny's always good. I mean, yeah, there's just not enough peaks here, is what I would argue. Like 75s will
forward cards, man.
Yeah, he needs a forward card big time. He just doesn't peak enough is the big issue. Like you just look at him compared to Gil. You know, like the 96, like the 80 floors, 96ers, 190. Like he just doesn't have that in his game is the big issue because he's a mid card and he probably just gives the ball away all the time. He's a good card to have. Like I wouldn't say no to him, but at the same time, like there's a reason why he's half the price of Gil.
Yeah,
like
great team 2 guy.
Yeah, captain team 2 easily.
Too.
Right, he's like an extra player in the first team quite comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Not really going to let you down, but he's not really going to do you 100. Really, is the big issue.
Yeah.
Contrabass, what's happening, mate? It'll be finding this league's Leicester or Valladolid and who's playing them. Basically, yeah.
It's not a bad way to go if you've got the flight. But again, like, do you need to buy who's playing them, or do you need to buy the best player on the team that's playing them?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Depends who that team is, I would say. But for the most part, you're probably right. Yeah, you buy the best team.
Stick with your own stack and then get a guy in as a ringer. You know,
100%. Yeah, Pooj is back training, I think.
Yeah, I seen a picture of him getting the dumps on his back.
If both teams don't score, well, Kevin Denke's out. Not that he's been scoring that well. He's been actually okay, but on the weekend he was horrendous. But he's been said to be out for the Miami game on today, actually. Yeah, Wednesday, isn't it? Banging. We got MLS tonight. Love that. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm like a Wagner away of like having a really good MLS like in season team right now. But like, because you can buy the classic soon. I'm tempted to. Oh, somebody. Yeah, that's annoying. There was a cheaper Wagner up yesterday. It looks like it's either been taken away or snapped up. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was the one. 67. Yeah, I should have bought that. And now he's like 90.
Classic market's got tough, hasn't it?
Yeah. Like I've got a super rare. I don't have a fucking rare. Like what am I doing in my life? Like he's auto captain in the super rare lineup, but yeah, really tough matchups this game week. Are you on streaks for the MLS midweek, Quinny, or no?
I've got teams out. I'm not on one already. You get it going. New York fucked me at the weekend. They played Charlotte. That's the end. They got weather delayed. I stayed up for it. Managed to catch the first half. It was a rubbish game.
Yeah.
But yeah, they lost 2-0, I think. So yeah, no action at the weekend for MLS for me. And again, like somebody did say it, like if you've not been playing MLS for streaks, like you will be in for a bit of a shock for, like, you do need people to score goals. Like you do need people to win football matches. You know, like doesn't matter how nice your stack is, your collection, or how high your XP is. If there's no decisives, there's no party. You know, like
not at all. And even if there is, there needs to be a bit of AA with, you know, a couple of them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm on second streak for limited and rare, but I'll be honest, like the last couple of weeks, I really haven't been. This is the first time that I've purposely gone in season on every player in the 3 teams, if you know what I'm saying. Normally I use my Evander Classic or I use my Hani Mukhtar class. I always go 4-1. I know that's not streakable, but I've just not really been on it with the streaks. Like I really haven't bothered, but I was just like, you know what? Let me try and get a little run together before 4-1 comes in. So I'm going to set myself up for, say, if I'm on when 4-1 comes in 8 days' time, I should be on like hypothetically on the 3rd or 4th streak or whatever, and I've got a chance then of kicking on. The 4-1 comes in on the 25th, so it'll be not this game week, or it should be game week 97, I would say. No, maybe 98. Yeah, because game week 97 will be like 22nd to the 25th, and then I think it'll be game week 98. To be honest, posted just as you said that. Who posted? Sorry. But yeah, well, we got 88 people watching.
I think it was just previous comment. When does 4-1 come in?
Okay, 88 people watching. How is the likes looking, Quinny?
I've got no idea. I can't see on the screen. Let me go and pull it up.
I got on my phone now. 45. That's not a bad ratio. I still think we could easily get to 60. Come on, lads. It helps me out in the algorithm. It's completely free to do so. And it obviously means a lot as well. You said 8 days when I put. Oh, I got you. Sorry, mate.
You've maybe said it in one of your videos, Harry, and I've maybe just forgotten.
Yeah.
What are you doing with supers in Europe? Classic.
Well, I really want to play La Liga in season, and I really want to play Eredivisie in season.
Yeah, I did know that.
With the two uniques. I'm not married to having to do both. Like if I can only afford one, I do one. But yeah, it's just going to be U23. Obviously arenas, because I've got spread between contender and challenger. I've got a couple of I've got Brazil cards and whatever. So I'm not really too married to that. But obviously there is no contender classic, so they're all going into all-star. I've got pretty strong challenger cards, to be honest, which I could maybe think about going in season there, but I'm not really married to it, to be honest. I'm quite happy just to throw all these into arenas. Champ, I don't even have a goalkeeper, so I'm looking to sell off your Soberslides. If anyone wants an in-season Soberslide, come and talk to me. I'm not really too confident anywhere, to be honest, classic wise. I have a ton. I have 5 Jupiler League keepers now. The Wolf, Pirad might start. Nazawa, let's just say maybe starts. Layson starts. Was that? Yeah, that was it, to be fair. Bursa, I don't know what's going on with him. He's just fucking car crash. But Eredivisie, I've got Dylan got demoted, but he might move. I don't really know. And then where is he to? Oh, he hasn't got in yet, but Van Gassel should be the starter for Excelsior. They're getting promoted. But it depends. I might have to buy it into. I really, basically, I'm all over the shop. I really don't know. I've just tried to set myself up, have a little base everywhere to where, we'll see what kind of happens. But yeah, U23 is still where I'll probably try and target Layson, Astrolaga if he starts for Granada, and then Nazawa hopefully plays for Antwerp as long as Lammers leaves, which might not happen, but we'll see. So probably 1 or 2 keepers there, but with S07 there's only so many supers I'm going to be able to get out anyway, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's just going to be a player by year, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't suppose you're interested in a super. Well, maybe. Yeah, you've been selling your supers, haven't you, Quinny?
Yeah, I'll probably have them all moved today. I've got the traders
really
submitting offers. So
how much are we talking?
Oh, well, I'll keep that close to my chest now. A wide range of variety of offers we've received. Let's say.
Interesting.
Wait on 1 or 2 more to come in, and then I'll go back around the doors.
There's a couple of nice little pieces. I can see why they'd want, the Cunha, maybe Gabri Vega, a couple of keeper. Yeah, there's definitely a bit. I can see why a trader would offer some. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're all usable. For the most part, there's very little duds.
Yeah, Aliesh could be a nice little piece, maybe. King Coop, but he'll be challenger. Well, technically. And champ. Yeah. Demirovic. Yeah, there's a couple of nice players here. I'd reckon someone's going to offer you like a grand, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if someone offered you a grand, I think you're taking it cash.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah,
Offers have been all right so far. Wee bag of sand. Yeah, but I'm quite hopeful that I don't know. I keep remembering how much I love some of them. Like when you were talking about Soria earlier, I was looking at Soria the other day when I was just like, I love this guy so much, man. Really don't want to lose this card, you know.
Mate. Oh, 100%, mate. There's so much. Like I remember when you spoke about it, like you yeah, like there's just so much history. By the way, sorry, CT, yeah, he does have obviously really nice collections now, but unique collections are getting nerfed from 8% to 6%. So you know, he's back down with the minnows in a way. But yeah, he's still obviously he's still gonna smash it.
And
but yeah, there's just a lot of history, isn't there?
Yeah, so I was and the Girona guys as well. Like I'm just like, oh, it's a nice wee rig, and if some of them move, it gets a wee bit nicer. But Tierney could be quality in Scotland. I think it will be. Cunha's going to be great in Man United. I think he'll be brilliant.
Definitely.
Mecca's at Leeds, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I mean, he'll definitely have minutes in that. I think.
Yeah.
Gabriel Vega will probably be a nice one.
I think so. Played a wee bit of Club World Cup for Porto. Maybe a wee bit too soon to judge him, but. And then there's like 4 or 5 keepers there, depending on what happens with Mandanda and Killison.
Yeah, Demirovic is interesting to me a little bit.
Yeah, he's just went to Espanyol to replace Garcia.
Okay. Like what to start? Because I have his rare. I didn't really know that, but yeah.
His Leganés got relegated.
Got you.
So he's at Espanyol to replace Joan Garcia. And he's one of the ones, look at that chart. See with 3 goals getting removed. Like Espanyol are a better defensive team. Espanyol actually had a bit of a defense stack this season.
Definitely.
But he's one that he could be at, like, looking at that, and then you remove all those 3 goal concessions and whatever. Like,
right.
Guys like that could be wild. There might be cheat codes that come out.
CT, you can only play one classic unique in season, like in each comp. So he's got 600 uniques. He can probably use 20 of them in season at a time. Yeah. What's this? I tried a tool to check your teams in season if you hit the streak. I had full collection of Barca with top XP, and my max would be 3rd streak. It's going to be hard. I mean, La Liga is like the hardest, I would say, on paper. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But anyway, I need to pop off now. I've got a little nipper to look after. I've had my hour and 12. Lads, I really do appreciate everyone watching. What'd you say, sorry?
Absolutely flown in.
Yeah, it has. Absolutely flown. But yeah, it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. Quinny, you've got obviously bits of content coming out next few days. Are we doing a deadline? When's the deadline?
I'm actually away tomorrow, buddy, for
4
or 5 days. Yeah, so I'm AFK. But yeah, deadline show. Well, we could definitely have it scheduled on, have it at your place or something like that.
I mean, this is technically only a midweek, but yeah, we can. If I've got time, I'll definitely do one. But yeah.
I wasn't. I won't be able to. Sadly.
That's all good. That's all good, mate. No, I appreciate you coming by this morning, and yeah, everyone in the chat as well. Same for you guys. Hope you have a great day, and yeah, appreciate everyone. Catch you in a bit.
Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.